I am Jenny, your host and a San Francisco Bay Area financial planner. And I am especially excited about today's guest, Carrie Durkin, because she's also one of my favorite mom friends. Our kids go to the same school here in the outer sunset of San Francisco. And it was through the school that I first learned about Carrie's consulting practice called Carrie's Points Unpacked for credit card rewards. And since then, she continues to impress us with stories of how she's taken incredible international trips with her family of three kids. So, Carrie helps families travel smarter by maximizing their credit card rewards. And through her classes and personalized consults, she simplifies the often overwhelming world of points and miles, showing parents how to turn, and really doesn't have to be a parent, I guess, any household, how to turn everyday spending into unforgettable trips. So, Carrie, I'm excited to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to dive in.
Awesome. Okay, well, how did you first get into the world of points and miles?
We have a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And we were on a trip in 2022, so it hasn't been too long. And we were on a road trip to the Tetons, so we had some time to kill. And my husband and I listened to a podcast, and it was by the Points guy. His name is Brian, and he basically talks about how he leverages credit card points to take these luxurious trips. And he does it by opening, I mean, he has like 20 cards in his wallet, but something clicked at that moment because as we're sitting on this road trip thinking, "Oh my god, I'm never gonna fly with my kids, it's so expensive," and all these things, I was just thinking I use one credit card. I've only used ever one credit card and have all these expenses, and I definitely am not maximizing my spend. So, I my husband and I just dug in, like, I opened 2 more credit cards on that day, my husband opened 2. And within, like, a month, we had, like, reached our the sign-up bonus, which is the big chunk of points they give you once you meet that minimum spend. We met it so quickly, and we were just sitting on a stockpile of points. And so from there, it just kind of really took off of me starting to book trips and all of that, and yeah, that's kind of where it started, a road trip.
Okay, well, Carrie, tell me, like, what was one of your first successful points trips?
Oh my god, so we decided early on that points were so valuable to us that we would only use it for bucket list trips we would never be able to afford. So I studied abroad in Italy for a year in college and I was dying to get back. And I wanted to show my kids Italy. And my husband is Irish, so he's only really been to Ireland. I wanted to show him. So we made booked a trip to Italy. And we paid barely anything for the flights but this was my first time digging in, so I've learned more from that, but we paid not barely anything for the flight, for the accommodations, and we just had such a great time, and I showed my kids my apartment where I lived in Florence, and I just it was a pinch me moment, and I remember Jim and I just looked at each other, we were just like, "Oh my god, we got deep." And it was just addicting, like, nothing feels better than free, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, especially if it's, like, something that you probably wouldn't have thought to you could afford otherwise,
Oh, yeah.
right? Okay, so a lot of the families that we talk to are very busy people. They know that there are such things as rewards travel and have heard of people like you who have seemed to game the system, but it sounds like a heck of a lot of work. So, I mean, guess what are some of the biggest, I mean, misconceptions you'd like to clear up right away, or what would you say to a friend, a mom friend who is maybe having that kind of reaction?
First, I would be like, you could text me at any time, I'll answer your points questions to make it life
Mhm.
easier, but I would say it's not that hard. You don't need to just dig into the fine details and book everything yourself. There's so many resources out there that can help you, and it's not gonna affect your credit score. It's not this crazy coupon like, a lot of people think it's like couponing. It's not like that, and the credit card companies are betting on you not using the rewards. That's why they're in this game. So, I would say just that, yeah, you could do it, and there's people like me who can help you do it.
Great. Okay. So I guess if we think about the credit card rewards, if you were to design like, okay, like somebody's willing to spend a little bit of time, like what are the lowest hanging fruit things for a family to do?
Okay, so the first thing that you're gonna just wanna do is a credit card audit. You know, look at your credit cards. What are the ones that you're using every day, and are you using them correctly? Because a lot of them have category spend associated with groceries and eating out and other things like and gas. So I'd look at my credit cards and say, hey, like, how am I using these? And then I probably get an app or use a resource. Like there's apps out there to stay organized and just make sure you're using it that like you don't need to dip deep, like dig it deep into the game, but like just make sure that the credit cards that you're using correctly because a lot of them you have to pay for. So if you want to get like the most bang out of your buck, are you using that hotel credit? Are you making sure to use the right spend at the grocery store? So anything like that, just make sure because a lot of people don't even know the benefits that come with their credit card. And I'll ask them like, oh, what do you use at the grocery store? Like, I change. And I'm like, no, you need the Amex Gold and you get times four. Like, just one thing, like one tip.
Of people don't know that. So, I mean, you threw out the term category spend. What does that even mean?
So, credit card companies like to reward you more points based on the type of spend you're using. So, if I go to the grocery store, I could get two times the amount of points if I use my Capital One, or I could get times four if I use my American Express Gold. So, they want to incentivize you to use it at certain places for gas or for groceries or anything like that. So, that's what category spend just kind of means. So, it's looking strategically at where a lot of your spend bucket is coming from because, if you have a family, you're probably spending a lot on groceries. So if you look at it like that and just make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck in terms of the categories, it's the first place you could start because then you can be like, oh, my points are kind of accumulating fast. Like I didn't realize I wasn't using them correctly.
Okay, so category spend. All right. Tell me some other low-hanging fruits.
Yep.
Do they have to be opening a ton of cards? Like, what do we have to do here? And what are some of the best cards to open what are some of the best cards to hold?
So
How would I know?
we always focus on transferable points. So what that means is there are four main cards really you want to focus on. And that is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I like to do that over the reserve. The Amex Gold, American Express, the Capital One Venture, and then the City Strata is another good one. Now, what I mean by transferable is that it's different than a hotel branded card, right? If I got a United card, a credit card, I'd only use it I'd only get United points. But the biggest thing that you can do to maximize and just make your life easier is focus on cards that have currency that transfer to other diverse group of airlines and hotels so that okay, like I can transfer my Amex and Chase points to fly to Air France and Flying Blue, or I can do it to Virgin Atlantic. So the more that you focus on those transferable points, the faster you can get points and you can bucket them together and use them to travel. I wouldn't focus on hotel branded cards or anything like that, especially if you're just trying to make your life easier. If you just focus on those four cards, you could really do some damage with your points.
Okay, that's actually really thank you for I just wanted a list of 4 is very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so far I've heard you in terms of low-hanging fruit. Make sure you're using the right card for the right category of spend because they have different spend multiples, I guess, based on the category. How would you even know what they are?
So you could literally look on your credit when you log into your app, it'll tell you and a lot of people don't, which is so funny. I love asking people like, "How many prints do you think you have?" And they're like, "I don't know. Where do I even find that?"
Yeah.
So if you go into your app and it'll say it on the bottom and it'll be like, "Oh, you get times 2 here, times 3 here," and it'll tell you what benefits you get from that certain card. So your app is like the perfect fit. Or I mean, there's so many resources online that you could just like Google, "What do I get?" And
So when you say app, you're talking about the credit card app, so like
the
the
credit
Chase
card app.
app or the
Yeah.
Citibank app or something.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, when you log into
got you.
your account, it always, like, personalizes it for you.
Got it. Okay. So low-hanging fruits, use the right card for the right spend. And then also there's 4 cards that you recommended in terms of and then focusing on transferable points. Yes, good. Okay, don't focus on the hotel branded ones, especially if you're trying to keep it easy. Okay. Any other kind of key principles or low-hanging fruits that you want to share?
Sure, so there's one thing that you should probably understand is that if you're going to do this or get into the credit card game or just make sure you do it, just make sure you're paying off your credit card, your
Yes. As a financial planner, number 1, yes. So don't take consumer debt. Yes.
exactly. But also know that, a lot of these come with a sign-up bonus and it has a certain minimum. So maybe it might be 4K in 3 months and so on. So the benefits of signing up for these is they give you that large amount of points and make sure that you have spend coming up that can get you that. Because some people don't do that, and they're like, "What's a sign-up bonus?" And then they kind of forget and they lose their points. So just make sure that you can do those, and then use the resources out there's just so much out there in terms of credit card points and resources that, like, use that to your advantage. I mean, there's a lot out there.
Yeah. And I'm curious, like, about the sign-up bonus because, like, Lisa and I have also played this game and have used it. Every year we travel to Taiwan with our family of 4 for free, and Lisa always feels very proud of herself when she gets it done. But, like, between the sign-up bonus and the points that you get from a sign-up bonus versus the points that you get from spending on the card, obviously, like, you're gonna get a big chunk, but, like, my original understanding was, like, it's really all about the sign-up bonus, but you can only open so many cards, and at some point, the credit cards companies cut you off and don't let you open anymore, right? But, like, can you actually generate meaningful points through spend as well, or is it really about opening cards over and over again?
Okay, so I guess it all depends on what your goal is, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you're trying to take one big trip with your family yearly, I mean, you could probably between and you have a spouse, a player. So another term, a points term, is player one would be you, Jenny, and player
Mm.
two would be Lisa.
Uh-huh.
So to use that in your to your benefit. So I know you said that you could run out of cards, but if you look at it as, oh, I'm approaching this one trip and I can open a card, she could open a card, we can get the sign up bonus put together, and then that's our cards for the year. And you can look at it like, I don't we went hard. Like I have
Uh,
like 15 cards. But I downgrade, I cancel, I do all the things when I want to because we went to Europe 5 times in like 2 years. We're going like
mm,
every 6 months.
all on points? Okay, see, this is what you could do if you're willing to play the game, right? On a family of 5. Yeah.
If you are willing and committed, and especially you have to use the fact that you're in the Bay Area, you have children who just are just bleeding you dry with the your advantage and get points. And that's what I like. You can do it. Like if you don't make Lisa an authorized user on your card and you open a card, get the point, and you play the game, like you can do it. I mean, we're
Yeah.
starting to run out of PTO and all that, but I mean, it's definitely possible. Some people, I went really hard because I just
Yeah.
wanted to see what I could do,
Right.
and it's possible when you spend a lot of money.
Yes, those children do bleed us dry. Yeah, okay, and then actually speaking about player 1, player 2, also, what about folks who have their own businesses? Like, how do you increase the number of players who can play?
So there is for the business cards, a lot of people underestimate the fact that these credit card companies, they just want customers. I mean, they don't really care about too much of the fine print of what your business costs. So when I first started, before I started this business, I was selling my kids clothes on Facebook Marketplace, and that's technically like a business. Or like someone was a photographer for their coaches, like just any side hustle. I mean,
Right.
people sell things on Etsy, anything like that, anything qualifies.
Yeah.
And I know this gets different, and this is the financial thing. I wasn't trying to itemize for my accountant or anything, but
Right.
like I was just trying to get points. So there is this like niche thing of the Chase Bank business card, if you want to,
Yeah.
which is it's just the best card because there's not an annual fee. They give you a boatload of points and you can easily transfer them. So if you have a business, like you could still start with a player. I mean, depending if you both own and what you're trying to itemize or anything, but I would focus with Chase Bank business cards
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to open them if you have like a side hustle or you're selling your kids clothes on Nextdoor.
Now, let's say a family hears this, and they're like, "Okay, Carrie says I should open up a couple of these cards." They pick 2 out of the 4 cards. They figure out what their category spend is, and now, like, how do they track all this stuff without losing their mind?
So, in terms of staying organized and making sure, like that credit card audit I was talking about, there is a wonderful resource called Travel Freely, and it's a free app. And I would be lost without it. I've seen people tracking it in spreadsheets, and I think they're crazy because that's just like too much. But there's this wonderful, it's free. You download it, you just enter your card information. You're not giving it your like social security number. And it just tells you when your card, if after a year, it sends you an email like, hey, your annual fee's coming up in case you want to downgrade or cancel. Or, hey, you have 1 month to reach your sign up bonus. Make sure you do it. Or, hey, you're up for if you're playing the cards game. Some people get them every 3 months. So if you go that deep, it'll give you card recommendations and tell you when that 3 months is up so that you could apply for a new card. It's great. I don't know what I would do without it. It's the only thing that I've seen that really puts it all in one place to help you and keeps it just streamlined. Like, it's the best.
Yeah. I have to say we used to do the spreadsheet thing, and then Carrie showed us this app. I'm like, "Sis, this is amazing." Okay, so making our life easier. Okay, so last question on kind of earning points. Is there any, like, other than the time and energy it costs for somebody to kinda do this, and I think if you just focus on these low-hanging fruits, it's actually not that much time. It's just a little bit of upfront work. Are there any downsides? Like, I think people are really worried, "Oh, I'm gonna open all these cards and hurt my credit score." Is that true?
Yeah. Well, they're not. It's not true. They're not hurting their credit score. So your credit utilization rate, so your amount of credit that's under your bubble, your bubble or whatever. The more that you increase that, better your score gets. So it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh my god, I don't want to hit my credit score, and you don't. Only gets better. Like honestly, my husband and I like have competitions, and he'll be like, "Oh, my credit score. What's yours?" Like because ours are
Damn.
like over 800
Yeah,
because we pay off our bills and we have a huge credit utilization. So
yeah.
it's not gonna affect it. I mean, I would say that if you're trying to, buy a house or you're probably not gonna get into the game and be in it like a year prior to getting like a loan or anything. I'd be careful with that. But it doesn't affect it's only gotten better. And it's so funny because I get those naysayers out there who say that and then they'll text me and be like, "Oh my god, my credit score went up." And I was like, "I told you, just pay your bill. Like
Yeah.
it's fine." Like
Yeah, because you actually increase your available credit, but you're using less lower percentage of it, so it actually helps your score. I guess my one just to kinda push on that one, like, I have my understanding is that the duration or the length of your credit matters, and so if you're closing them, is that a problem? Or,
yeah.
how do you manage that?
So you don't wanna close your oldest line. So,
Okay.
like, I have my first Capital One card I ever had from, like, college, like, I will not close, I'll downgrade it. So what I say is I'll cancel sometimes, but a lot of times, I'm just downgrading to a no-fee card. All you have to
Right.
do is to email them or call and be like, "Hey, I don't wanna pay, I wanna downgrade," and then you're not affecting your credit score, but just don't if you have an old Victoria's Secret card sitting there from, like, 20 years ago, just keep it in the drawer and let it go. Like, you don't need to close it because it's gonna hurt your credit.
So I think the key takeaway is it's not gonna hurt your credit score actually in general, because you might actually see your credit card score improve because you increase your credit capacity, and then just make sure you keep your oldest credit card open even if you're not utilizing it. Okay, so if we then kind of switch gears and talk a little bit about spending points, that's the other challenge, right? You get all these points, and it's like, "Oh, I can never book anything." So, like, what are some of the misconceptions there? And like, and I guess, yeah, how do you advise on that?
Okay, well, the first thing that, like, is always, like, point courting. Earn and burn is always what I say, but that you can't do it, that it's too hard. I think a lot of people and that's kind of where I come in, a lot of people get, like, analysis paralysis, like, "Oh my god, like, is this the best value? Like, oh, if I wanna do this," and
Yes.
like, calm down, like, the whole point is to take a trip. So, like, I mean, if you burn a little too many, that's still fine, you're still taking a trip and saving money. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what I say is just make the decisions that's best for your family. But I mean, there's so much out there. Like you could literally Google like, I want to go to Italy on points, and you probably have 20 articles about someone who's done it, and there's different options depending on where. Like with the resources we have available, like don't be stuck and be worried about spending them. I always go through a process. Like I always, and it's market research. Like I always look to see, okay, like what is it in the portal? What is it if I paid cash? Or what if I transfer and just kind of just weigh it? And if I don't have flexible dates, so some people have like a 50-year anniversary they're trying to get to and they're locked in on those dates, like you do with the best that you can. But don't
Yeah.
be worried about not getting the best max like value for them. I think people could get but there's literally a calculator online where you could put in, and it's on the pointsguy.com. That's a great resource. You could put in the value of the cash you're paying and with the savings, and it'll tell you the best, what's my best option, like how much am I saving if you're really into that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I used to do that. I used to be like, "Oh, I am not getting the full the dollar value of my points. I should not do this. I should save them." At least it's like, just for freaking use them, you know? So, I think there's a point in which you're overly optimizing, right? It's kinda like you said, like, and this is the truth with money too. At the end of the day, the point of having points or money is to enjoy them, enjoy what they can buy, not freak out about how you're not optimizing them to the nth degree, right? So, and if you're like, I don't even want to figure out how to do this, call Carrie. Carrie
Yeah,
can help you figure it out.
can help you.
How far in advance, like if a family knows, hey, this summer I want to take my family of 4 or 5 and my mom-in-law or whatever to Europe, like how far in advance do they start be thinking about a point strategy?
So I like and this oh, I always get people like, "Oh my god, you're already planning a trip." Well, because we have a family of 5 and award tickets, the airlines only release a certain amount, and
Yeah.
I like to do the sooner the better. So, like, I like to do a year to 9 months out, depending
Yeah.
on the program or partner airline. I've had luck with 9 months and finding, like, pretty cheap fares, and it also depends on the season or whatever you're gonna do. And
Yeah.
summer for Europe is obviously more expensive. It's their high season, so I would probably definitely look out a year in advance and use the benefit of knowing our kids' school breaks to your advantage. Like
Yeah.
a lot of these airlines, like for example, we're big proponents of Air France and Flying Blue for getting to Europe because they have great award rates and kids under 11 fly for 25% off discounted of the award rate. So it's cheaper and they open up a year in advance. And I
Mhm.
literally would just look and be like, oh, like what are the fares like? What's open right like in a year if I know that we want to go somewhere next summer. So and then it's done. And a lot of them, the cancellation fee isn't that bad if you do need to cancel, and then you get your points back in your account. I mean, so kind of, I don't know. People are like, "Oh my god, you can't be flexible with it," but you can if you just use it to your advantage. Of oh, I have like a schedule, I can just look at it a year in advance. Like it's fine. So I don't
Yeah.
worry.
Is there any general rule of thumb if you think about like, okay, you have some points that you can use the points, usually it's like either airlines, hotels, or just cash, right? Do you have any rule of thumb about those things, or is it really based on like what you're trying to get?
Yeah, I mean, basically what you're trying to get. The great thing about the transferable points is like if I focused on shape, I could
Yeah.
transfer to an airline or a hotel. So like if I'm looking at a trip, I could either be like, I want to save money on the flight and just transfer it out, or I want to save money at a Hyatt and I'll transfer it to Hyatt or whatever
Yeah.
hotel maybe. So you kind of just focus. I mean, you're probably not going to get both because you
Yeah.
probably aren't going to have that many points to do that, but just focus on one. And if you save a little money, like that's great. And then even for families, like I really like Capital One Venture because you can use it for Airbnb, which is
Mm,
great for families. It's called the purchase eraser, where it just once it hits your statement, you're just credited it. So I really push that as well. If you're because that's a big expense right there. So
yeah. Yeah. That's pretty great. Okay. Is there like at least for our, many of our clients live in the Bay Area, is there any particular best like, if you're thinking about flying out of SFO or something, is there any ideal airlines or cards or anything like that if you're coming from here? If we're
totally.
just focusing on travel optimization?
It's all about hubs, right?
Yeah.
So in SFO, we United the big hub. Alaska, we have a lot of, and then we for Europe, there's some sweet spots. So it kind of depends on where you're going, but
Mhm.
the beauty of the 4 cards that I mentioned is that they transfer to all of those hubs.
Yeah.
So United, even Southwest, Alaska Airlines, and then like for Europe, we do Virgin Atlantic, which
Yeah.
is American Express. So I mean, there's some sweet spots, and then you also have if you wanna go to Japan. So, like, we're like, you have the sweet spots there. So and that would be more of like American Airlines, then you'd get into those cards.
A lot of Bay Area families have high expenses. The children that are bleeding us dry, our mortgages, the food bill, all that. What are are there any like biggest, when you talk to folks in your workshops and stuff, what do you see as some of the biggest missed opportunities?
So, a lot of people don't know that there's a card out for it's called Built, and you can actually pay your starting in 2026, so they're gonna release it next year, you can start paying your mortgage with it.
What?
Ye
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't signed on for it yet just because I wanna see how this plays out. I've been able to pay your rent with Built for a long time. So, you
Yeah.
can get max 100,000 points a year by paying your rent through them, but they're trying to get into the mortgage game now. And the beauty of Build is that has all those transfer partners that I was talking about with the 4 other cards. So they're really
Mm,
trying to get in the game. So mortgage is getting there. I think they're realizing that there's potential there. I don't know how that's
yeah.
going to marry up with all the banks, but mortgage. So childcare, I mean, depending on your school system, a lot of them take credit cards. Sometimes there's a fee, But if you're trying to make a so say you're focused on making as many the points as possible in a quick amount of time because you want to book that trip to Europe and you need to make that sign up bonus, that sub, like you could make a payment on your credit card, eat the fee. It's not that much, and just know that you're going to hit the sign up bonus, and then you could use that point. So you could definitely do it for childcare or tuition. Like I know I've paid credit card before for our tuition, and then dining out. I mean, Chase preferred is like times a three, and then from Amex it's times four. So I think that just making it's expensive here to eat and to go to school and all of those things. So just make sure that you're getting the most value there. And even if you can't use that category spend for those, like even if you did the Capital One venture, it's times two on everything. So we quickly like if we're in between cards or only use the Capital One, like that goes up pretty fast because everything expensive.
Okay, wait, is there a specific credit card or, does that have to be a specific one or any?
I don't know if they take Amex.
Okay, that's
Amex
fine. We
for
don't have
just
MS, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
another thing that I don't know that, but we pay our taxes with a credit card.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Okay, like, for you, I mean, and I don't know if you can quantify this, like, if you were to guess, what do you think on an annual basis, if you were to quantify by dollars, like, what you would have spent, like, how much money do you think you've been able to save or make, whatever, from doing this
I saved over 50K.
per year?
No, 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 total. For
Total.
like
Okay.
total.
Okay.
I calculated it. I really was
Yeah.
curious, especially with this. I wanted to
Yeah.
see how much I spent
Yeah.
over 50K in a couple of years.
Couple years. Okay, so maybe, like, you're getting, like, 20,000 $20,000 a year in rewards.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great, right? Like, that's plus.
Like I had a goal this summer. We took our family to Scotland and the UK, and I didn't want to pay anything for accommodation. And I wanted to do
Yeah.
it all in one. And we'd have paid a dime.
Nice.
For 3 weeks. We only paid like $1,200 for five of us to fly there, and then our accommodations for 3 weeks. We didn't pay anything.
Wow. Awesome. This is what you could do, the aspirations.
You can.
Okay, so let's say people are like, "I have aspirations to do this. This feels really hard, though. I need help." How do you help people? Like, if they wanted to do a consult with you, what does that look like?
So it's all about your goals. So it could be as basic as I want to bring my kids to the Great Wolf Lodge and I want to use points and these are my points. Tell me what I could do. I will let them like be that quick. Like this is what you should do. That's
Yeah.
the consult. Or we have a strategy session where we sit down, we look at all your cards, we talk about your options, like should you downgrade, cancel, or what you should focus on, and what your travel goals are. Because some people have stuff that they want to take that bucket list trip and then I also do the full gamut. Like I will look up all of depending on your points, I will look up all of the different airfares and all of that for you, provide all those options for you, and all you have to do is book. So some people don't want to do that heavy lifting. I will do it. It's not that hard for me. But yeah, so basic to full booking, I will do.
Let me ask the final 2 closing thought questions is, number 1, what is one if you could just pick one action, every family, every household, I'm sure, at least has a credit card. What is one action they can start doing to use the rewards or accumulate their rewards better?
Oh my God. Well, first, like don't use your debit card on anything, please. But one thing, like sit down for 5 minutes and like look at where you want to go in like 3 months and make
Yeah.
a goal and try to make a strategy toward it. Because a lot of people are so busy, they don't think about it. All of a sudden they're like, oh, I want to go to Hawaii next year, but they haven't really planned it out. So take like 5 minutes to just think of where you want to go and how you want to and what programs you have. And then if you need help, like reach out to me.
Yeah. Okay, and how can people find you?
I am at Carrie's Points Unpacked on Instagram, and that has my full store of all my services. And you can click through and see all the fun videos I make.
Great. Well, we will have a link to all of that. Thank you so much. And I guess I just want to say that yes, I think this takes a little bit of work and some planning, but if you think about the potential of making or saving 15 to 20K a year, right? For somebody like I just think about how much energy people spend to either make it or like research the best car to save 15 or $20,000 or whatever it is that people are doing, right? So this is actually and also this is an ongoing thing. Once you kind of figure this out, you can do this on an ongoing basis.
There.
So, great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.